Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Chrissy here with an update for where are we, the third week in October. Something's happening, something big is happening. It's happening pretty fast. I'm only halfway through my week, and what I love and what I'm noticing more is that when I make a video like first thing in the morning and upload it and then do my client day, clients come in and they're speaking into a video that they haven't even watched. So there's definitely a collective moving together and harmonizing that's happening. And I just wanted to, well, I guess really I kind of want to unload a little bit, because I can't get heavily into the wow of what I'm witnessing with a client, because it's their journey and I don't want to imprint too heavily onto that. But trust me, this week has been a week of of clients having this click, click, click alignment, and it's happening like that. And I'm fully with them on their journey, and there's this little me inside going, wow. It's the most amazing thing. And it's looking like it's centering around identity. And it's looking like what's happening is a reconciliation, a balancing of the implicit with the explicit, of the internal landscape with the external landscape, of the internal want with the external want. So it's the inner story is meeting the outer story. And I've just I don't know if I'll draw any cards today. And by the way, get a coffee, because this one might go on. I have lots of notes and it's been pouring in this morning. And I just kind of picked this deck up and I just cut it. We'll do that card later, but when the first card out is inner wakefulness, which is what I'm trying to say, I'm just going to move with it. So I guess my question is, how are we self-identifying now? We're 6 months, 7 months into this pandemic, and we've gone in and we've gone in and we've gone in, and it's looking like we're at the point now where we're asking ourselves, well, what if that isn't me? We've become so detached from the external paradigm of be this, do that, create that, don't do that, don't do that. That it's given us a valuable space to really become objective and do some critical inquiry about actually who am I in the world. And I mean, I've literally said to a client this week, with what you're telling me, does it make you wonder whose personality you've actually been projecting into the world? And they laughed. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, because it's not me. It's not me. So I started looking at words that we commonly use to identify ourselves. And I've noticed that there's a pattern in those words, and those words tend to be good and nice and kind and thoughtful and helpful. Ring. Yeah, take a minute on that. Because are we all of those things? Or do we set those paradigms up for us to live up to, fail, and then build inner conflict where we can then shame ourselves for not coming up to the good, nice, kind, good, nice, kind, good, nice, I'm tired. I'm tired. What if I want to be bad, cruel, unkind. So that's all within me. That's all within you. Can we love and hate and find the opposite poles? Remember, there are no two opposites that cannot be reconciled. And reconciliation is happening like super, super quick at the moment. And it's like we're finding our inner permission slip to not conform, to create creative danger. So where shit's going to get real. When the creative self wakes up and when we drop back into our instinct and our intuition, that's where the inventor gets born. That's where the nonconformist, remember we've got Uranus, anything can happen. That's the higher mind, that's the inventor, that's Elon Musk territory. And I'm not saying go and invent the next petrol-free car. I'm saying, where is there room in the world for us to bring our weirdness and our difference and our edge? And I've seen so much edge come through my clients, just my clients this week, finding their inner permission slips and watching their whole energy field. Like one client described it as, my head has just exploded. And what I could feel actually was his crown chakra had gone right out, like massive. His energy field had pushed itself out, like broken his glass ceiling, completely broken the glass ceiling. Because we moved into the territory of, well, what if that's not you? And so one of the sentences I've got for today is, we're tearing down the edifice of our own creation. And the edifice is the conformity. Good, nice, kind. Good, nice, kind. You know? And so what I've also seen, let me see if I can find the words, because it's complex, but it's really simple. The soul knows what it's, the soul knows how to achieve what it's here to experience. The mind is the deciding factor and the ego is the deciding factor as to whether or not we actually achieve that in any given timeline. And in achieving what we've come here to experience, we will pull towards us situations to set that up. Very often those situations present us with enough difficulty to help the ego let go. So if we've come here to experience, let's say, a kind of freedom to be totally ourselves, then, well, and this is presented, then one client has chosen a profession which demands perfection. But what they struggle with is perfection. So the thing they've sought out is the thing that's going to break them down and take them into their beautiful imperfection. It's the external matching the internal and going, sort it out. Do you remember what I said yesterday? It's the diametrically opposing opposites in a room together going, sort it out. Come on. Find the harmony, find the reconciliation, find the allowing and the surrender to that which we might be resisting. So let me just go through my notes, because this might be quicker than I thought. I thought it was going to be a really long missive, but I'm not sure that it is now. There's a reviewing of what got rejected. Now, okay. Yeah. I see, I keep getting the word politeness. I want to talk into this. So I love to study paradigms and I love to tear them all, poke them, just poke them. And sometimes when I poke a paradigm, It falls over. I can't make it stand up. I can't make it fight back. So when I poke politeness, this is a word that's been with me for ages. It falls over. I can't make it stack up. And politeness is where we lie. Politeness is where we pretend. Politeness is where we suppress. And on rare occasions, politeness can be a kindness. And I would put a question mark over what gets learned in that kindness. So when we are, let's take child parent, that's a powerful example. So child parent, you'll have heard me talk 1,000 times on how children play, and children play in free state. And in free state, there's kind of no rules about messiness, order, chaos, noise, space. There's no rules. They're lost. They're lost. They're building and creating and exploring and breaking things to see how they work. It's a pure creative process. So the moment that that child gets judged, shamed, pointed in another direction by an adult, it starts to learn to suppress and reject and reject. I can't do this because mummy doesn't like it. I can't do this because daddy shouts at me. It's that contorting and distorting, becoming adapted to what you want. This is where natural instinct gets suppressed. And this is where the natural instinct, my no, my I want, which I've seen come through this week, the truest I want I've ever felt. Very, very true. It's not a want that's coming from lack, fear, insecurity, need. No, it's not that kind of want. I want, I'm going to go and get. Beautiful, pure, very, very true. And that gets damaged in, I want to say, old paradigm parenting, because I think we're moving through this now. An old paradigm parenting is narcissistic. Make me look good. Don't embarrass me in public. You know, kids are embarrassing. It's part of their joy to be, well, they're not being embarrassing, are they? They're just being. So we're moving through this epoch of narcissistic parenting where the child has a spectrum that big to live within, you know, and if the child is better than the parents, there's shame. And if the child isn't as good as the parents, there's shame. Literally can end up as shallow breathers. They're not deeply breathing life in. They're not boisterous and seated in their belly, you know. They're always on the lookout, hypervigilant, which is a symptom of trauma, you know. And here we're leaning into moral injury and the injury of joyful creation. So what's happening is the parts of us that have been rejected are swiftly coming back this week. Our freedom to sing our song. You know, I got that 4 o'clock this morning was, what do I call my work? Because I keep tripping over the word work. It doesn't feel true. This isn't true. The work I do with clients isn't true. And my inner voice or my guide or whatever said, it's your song. That's my song. That's how I sing in the world. I share my voice with clients and it seems to help them, and it's really nothing more complex than that. I don't make these videos. So here's the impolite truth. I don't make these videos because I'm concerned about helping the world, because I have some big purpose to, you know, get these souls online and bring them through and blah, 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 blah. No, it's not my concern. I make videos because I absolutely adore making videos. I make videos because it's like this energy where I'm speaking straight into the cosmos And that's a conversation I want to have. That's a conversation my soul craves, is to have a limitless chat about limitless stuff where there are no conditions or boundaries or walls, you know. And I can do that by talking at a camera and sensing there's energy behind it that's listening. Okay. And purpose has been with me for years. I've been breaking down the paradigm of purpose, and I can't make that stand up. I can't. Every time I nudge it, it falls over. And it's like I read about how people write about purpose, and it's almost like, I'm exaggerating here, but it's almost like without your purpose, you're nothing. My hand's gone straight onto my hip there. It's very parental. Without purpose, you're nothing. Without mission, you should be out there, helping people. Come on, get off your ass, go and help people. Fuck off. Go in. Do I want to? What's my motivation? And where that takes me actually is into quite a cloudy pool of energy where largely, I'm generalizing, largely I find people who are driven to save the world are not doing their own work. They're not saving themselves. That's all we have to save. That's all we have to save. All I have to do is elevate this as much as I can. Break it open, break it down, elevate it, lift up the shadow, draw in more light, create a balanced organism. Why? Because I'm part of a collective, and what I do here ripples through my DNA, all the way down my timelines and out. This is all I'm responsible for. So purpose, I don't have a purpose. Honestly, I've probably searched for it since I left the day job, 2014, and I haven't found it yet. Ergo, I don't think it exists. I don't. Please argue with me or give me a new timeline to explore. But for me, there's no purpose. There's no purpose. If I have to adopt a purpose, well, to find joy, you know, to stand at my core always, to keep solid, to find my inner peace always, to embody love as deeply as I can, as honestly as I can, and to be as honest as I can. And sometimes that looks pretty ugly. But the ugly is the truth, free from politeness. And this is what we're moving into. Ah, right. This is the Aquarian age, isn't it? Huh. No schmoozing. No glad handing. Wow. No politics. It's very direct. Feels very direct. And beautifully uncomfortable. This is why we're being taught to be comfortable with uncomfortable, to sit in the not knowing, because what I've tapped into today is clearly something is happening. I'm not too concerned about what is happening this week, but clearly there's a big changeover point and a bounce off this week. It's happening now. It's happening now. And what I tapped into this morning was, let's call this, let's call the media, religion, education, and banking or commerce. 4 pillars, the 4 pillars of a 3D reality, which isn't reality. It's programmed into our DNA. The belief system around it, the value system around it. And so we'll call that the machine. We'll call that the machine that controls the psyche, because the psyche wants to be free. The spirit wants to be free. And what I tapped into was, if you follow the machine, you're very easy to control. Okay. So if media has a big seat at your table, you're very easy to control. Why? Because you're not tapping in to check. You're seeing a headline and whoosh, all of your attention gets pulled. The whole psyche gets pulled in a direction that your heart might not be bothered about, actually. So there's a caution to pause, especially with the media. Especially with the media. Media's job is to sell papers. They'll do anything to sell papers. They don't care about the health of your psyche. They're not doing their best for you. Come on. So if you follow the machine, religion is going to take a bashing. I see again, the church is in the news again. And I'm like, how many fucking times am I going to have to hear this headline? How many times am I going to have to read about another priest that's been protected by the church for stealing the innocence of children? How many times? My whole lifetime I've been reading these headlines. My whole lifetime I've been watching the most acutely painful documentaries to learn and learn and learn. Films have been made about it. People giving testimony, people coming out, and still the church is in the news for abusing children. How many fucking times, really? So yeah, religion is going to change. I don't doubt that. It's one of the 4 pillars. It's part of the machine of what controls us. So if you follow the machine, you get controlled, and you have no control. You have no control. So when something else is controlling you, be good, be kind, be nice. There's an old edict from religion. Be good, be kind, be nice. I don't want to be. I'll be what I want to be, thanks very much. However, if you follow your intuition, you discern and you choose. Media, religion, commerce, banking might be pulling you in this direction. Because what's in the field at the moment? Money. Of course, money is in the field at the moment. Some people are losing jobs, businesses are closing. It's a forced timeline change for a lot of people, and money is very distracting, very eclipsing. It can steal all of our joy. So in the intuition is where we begin to birth. We've got all this high-minded energy kicking around. We're in October, which is just the most intuitive month of the year. Intuitive month. So you discern when you're in your intuition, you're in your voice, you're hearing your song. And that, if it isn't different to all of that, isn't true. You're unique. The uniqueness is encoded within. It cannot be given to you by anything external. It can be triggered by the external. You might read a book and see a sentence and your body might go, ooh, follow that. Follow that. Come back inside. Come home. Come home. Big picture. This is where the split is going to be. I don't mean any kind of disrespect here. Genuinely, I don't. This is how I observe the world. For me, the watershed moment that we're approaching is between the mask wearers and the non-mask wearers. And I mean that metaphorically, not literally. Okay? The people who wear masks and live in fear are separating from the people who wear masks but know better. Do their research, learn the science, push it until it can no longer fall over. Push it until it pushes back because you've landed on the hard science. Do the research, take responsibility, be a grown-up in what is this? What is this? Because it isn't what it seems. Genuinely, it isn't what it seems. Really feels like a separation and a disentanglement. Part of it happened last Thursday, Friday. I'm hearing testimony from people who went through a really black time, really black time last week. So something big happened. Again, I'm not going to get lost in what it was, but I think for those really pointing their heart at their universal self, something very dark, because we're willing, you see, was removed. So my guidance to anybody that's listening to this would be to point yourself back in as deep as you can go, back into the intuition. Listen. You can only do that in silence, without the phone, without the laptop, without any kind of anything pulling the mind. Drift, stare out the window, sit under a tree, meditate if that suits you, play with crystals if that suits you, do anything that uses the receptive mind, feminine mind. We're birthing the feminine. Okay, we're birthing the feminine. Yeah, so we're reviewing what got rejected from the self. As Carl Jung always says, whatever is rejected from self will turn up in the world as an event. And what often gets rejected is our own uniqueness, our own weirdness. I remember my children saying to me 100 years ago, your problem is you have a freak flag and you just don't fly it. I've still got tons of freak. There's still tons of freak that I don't bring to the camera. So yeah, view the inner conflicts that get set up when you determine yourself to be this or that. The only way, if I'm forced to describe myself, I struggle. Tell me about yourself is one of my least favorite question. Tell me about yourself. And the only way I can self-identify actually is a one-woman paradox. Because I can be everything. I can be love and hate in equal measure. I can destroy and create in equal measure. And there's no judgment on any of those, because in my world, there's no such thing as right and wrong. There is the experience and what my soul can bear. That's the truth. So find your inner truth. What's your inner truth? What can your soul bear? What's your passion? What drives you? What's your love? What do you surrender to? What do your knees go weak for? Can you surrender to your imperfection or that which you perceive to be imperfect? I've always lived by one rule, which never fails me, and it is, if I can find what I crave in nature, then go find it. I've never seen perfection in nature, not as we measure perfection with perfect angles. And I watch how a wild garden grows in nature. And nature just throws every colour she can at it, and it never clashes. And I also observe how ivy can pull down an oak tree. That's nature. It's mean and it's gorgeous. So are we. And that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Inner wakefulness. These are the two that came out. I don't even want to talk into them because it's so damn obvious. Inner wakefulness, self-renewal. Who are you truly? And I dare you to be it. That's it, my darlings. Lots of love for now. And I'll see you when I do. Take care. Be good. Be true. Or not.